Okay, and we have some scream there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis, and today we're listening to Bad Omens, Dying to Love. I haven't heard a lot of Bad Omens. I have a student that used to sing one of their songs, so I've listened to that one. But actually these days I was curious to listen to more of their music, and I realized that they just released this, and I want to listen to it with you guys. Alright? If you're new here, my name is Kyle Dish. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a voice teacher, my work is focused on laryngeal physiology, so what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes they do to produce the sounds that we have inside contemporary singing. So my teaching work is focused on contemporary singing rather than classical singing. And as a singer-songwriter, I just released last month my latest single, I'll Be There, and I'm about to release a new single that's called Leave It All Behind. So I'm not one of those vocal coaches that only talk about voice but do not sing. I'm actually a singer myself as well. I have the solo project of mine, which is the one I'm releasing these songs with. I also have a band, a metal band called Mind Gaze. I'll leave all the links down below. So if you are curious to listen to my own singing, I'll leave the links down below. If you want to become my singing student, I invite you to check out the page for my online singing course, Building Your Voices, link down below. There we talk about a range of different vocal techniques. We talk about active vocal schemes, passive vocal schemes, ornaments, vocal distortions, yeah, how to practice and apply them in a way that's healthy for you and your voice. All of that backed in voice science, physiology, and right now I currently have a few spots for online private lessons as well. If you are interested, send me a message and we can talk about that. Alright, so without further ado, let's listen to Dying to Love. That's beautiful. So the first thing that I noticed is that we have a lot of breathy voices there. So this initial part of the song, at least, is singing mostly with his vocal folds and passive tension. The vocal folds can be either active, hey, or passive, hey. And he's singing here in this beginning, at least, mostly with his vocal folds in passive tension. And not only that, we also have some breathiness happening there, some hey, hey. Hey, and this sort of technique is really effective, especially when we are starting a song or we are singing a more delicate part of the song, mainly because we don't have a lot of volume for techniques like that. So if we are singing like that in a part of a song, that everything is really loud, that everything is being really loud, like all of the other instruments, the competition wouldn't be fair. This is a kind of technique to be played when you're singing a part of the song where the dynamics are a bit lower. Everything is a bit lighter. You get close to the microphone. You apply compression to that. Yeah, this is one of those sounds that in contemporary singing we do, and they wouldn't be as desirable in classical singing, because in classical singing oftentimes you are singing unamplified, and this is not the kind of sound that would be healthy to produce without a microphone. All right, so there is something else that I heard that I will point out right now. This right here. This is the creaky voice. It's a kind of vocal distortion that we use in contemporary singing, and we use it everyday life as well, like when you're speaking and we use this kind of voice here. This is a creaky voice, and yeah, it is a vocal distortion. It's not super heavy, but it is a vocal distortion. Hey, the breathy voice here. And then we have the creaky. And usually the creaky voice is used as a fade in. You're singing a phrase, I'm singing this phrase here, or a fade out. I'm singing this phrase here. Usually we don't sing the whole thing with the creaky voice because the volume needs to be low for us to keep this. The creaky voice is not a kind of vocal technique that we can hold when we are increasing the volume. If you send more subglottic pressure, that is air pressure, to make the volume louder, you will lose the technique. You can keep a vocal distortion, but it won't be the creaky voice. You can change to another vocal distortion or another technique that's not exactly a distortion. But the creaky voice will only happen when you're singing a bit quieter. And now the whole band is growing, the whole sound is becoming bigger, and we have active vocal schemes. Dying. I think that was the melody. Love, dying. So here we can hear more compression in the sound, but not exactly more compression in the processed sound. We hear more compression in his voice, and that's because when he was producing his voice, he was engaging more the muscles. Hey, dying love, and then we have that sound. Oftentimes, when we are speaking and we have a firmer kind of speech or speaking voice, we are using the vocal folds in active tension. Is what more traditional singing approaches would call chest voice. But it doesn't have to be low. I mean, we can keep the vocal folds in active tension, and when we have the vocal folds in active tension, what you have is the muscle portion of the vocal folds, which are the vocalis muscles, they are pressing against each other with more force, and that's normal. When you think about voice, everything is about muscle tensions. Of course, we want controlled muscle tension, and we want this muscle tension to happen on muscles that are part of the adjustment that we want, and to a degree that also we want. It's not interesting for us to have the whole thing just squeeze. Not all muscle tension is the same. Some are desirable, some are not. But if you are thinking about voice, we are talking about muscle tension. This is really important to consider. There is no movement in the human body without muscles contracting. All right, let's keep going here. One more second to love, second to love, second to love, passive vocal folds again. Love. Second to love, second to love, second to love. This kind of vocal scheme here inside of vocal anthropophysiology, which is a theoretical framework that I use as a voice teacher. Inside vocal anthropophysiology, we call this kind of vocal technique a Gregorian voice. Just as a tribute to the Gregorian chant, because in the Gregorian chant, we would use this kind of sounds, or we, in the Gregorian chant, the Gregorian movement, when we analyze recordings that are sang in the Gregorian style, we do have this behavior happening with a certain level of strength there. When I say certain level of strength, it means that certain degree of importance. And on top of that, we wanted to avoid names that cause misconception inside vocal pedagogy. And here I'm talking specifically about falsetto and head voice. Because again, singing like that doesn't mean that we need to be singing high or low. Singing with passive vocal folds can be either high or low. Singing with active vocal folds can be high or low as well. Love and this. Love and the Gregorian voice, the characteristics are: I'm singing forward, I want to be heard, I'm not making my voice super quiet. It is passive, the vocal folds are not engaging with that same level that we were hearing before. It's not la, no, la, and we don't have that airy sound that we did before with the breathy voice, love, that he was using in the beginning. So this we would call inside vocal anthropophysiology a Gregorian voice. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. One more second to love, second to love, second to love. This is amazing. I hear a bit of distortion there, more aggressive distortions this time. I've been dying to love, dying to love. And some yodels there as well. When he's ending the word, I've been dying to love, love. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. Is this the pitch? Yeah. Love G4. When you have active vocal folds and we are singing higher than the E4, inside of vocal anthropophysiology we call that a warn voice. The voice that you would use to warn someone about something. Imagine that you want to call someone on the other side of the street, "Hey!" This kind of sound. And that's what we want, and that's what we have here. A warn voice. This is amazing. Some people call that belting, mix, that's okay. We want active vocal folds. Vocal folds are in eccentric contraction. So we have the vocalis muscles keeping their contraction as you're being stretched by the CTs. They are not just relaxing and letting the CTs pull. No, we want to keep that contraction to keep the vocal folds active. And that's exactly what we have here. This is amazing. And I also love that yodel. Yodels are basically abrupt changes between active and passive vocal schemes. So I have, for instance, a Gregorian voice, the warn voice, When I change abruptly between them, we say that that's a yodel. When we don't want that to happen, we are singing and that happens for a lack of control, maybe because the muscles are tired, maybe because we did something wrong. We call that a voice crack. When we are doing that on purpose, usually we call that a yodel. What a nice song. That warm voice again, so he was singing with the breathy, and then now active again with that warn. Told you guys that inside vocal anthropophysiology, when you are singing above the E4, we call that a warn voice. If we are having the vocal folds in active tension below the E4, so we are singing lower notes with active vocal folds, we call that a crooner voice. Crooner voice, as a tribute to the crooning movement in singing. Because again, this would be a kind of vocal behavior that would happen a lot inside the crooning movement. Fly me to the moon. And because of that, we call the technique here a crooner voice inside vocal anthropophysiology. I think I heard a really nice run. That was really nice. And it's kind of hidden in there as well. They circle over the stage. My essence. I can that breathy voice really close to the microphone. We have serious compression going on there. It sounds amazing. Okay, and we have some scream there as well. We have a lot of sibilance, a lot of whiz for this kind of distortion. Pay attention to how much breathiness, air we have there. It's amazing. A good way to start practicing this distortion is starting with more robust vocal distortions, like the snare, yeah! And from there, try to decrease the pitch. Here we want to decrease the level of activation of the vocalis muscle so that we have less activation of the vocal folds, allowing more breathiness to escape. That's the idea. And then you keep building it from there. We have the intention of a pitch, but as we decrease the level of activation and allow more breathiness, we hear less and less and less that pitch. Space. Gregorian voice again. Gregorian voice. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. One more second to love, second to love, second to love. I've been dying to love, dying to love, dying to love. Woo! This is amazing. And the music video is also fantastic. Okay, guys. That was our vocal analysis for Dying to Love. Let me know in the comments what you think of also your thoughts on my analysis here. Let me know which of the techniques you like the most, which of them you already apply in your own singing. If you want to develop your own voice, check out my online singing course, Building Your Voice, that talks about active vocal schemes, passive vocal schemes, vocal distortions, how to practice and apply them in a safe way for your voice, ornaments like vibratos, yodels, runs, all of that in theory and a lot of practice. We have a vocal exercise library there for you to practice each of the techniques and even a lesson on how to create your own vocal exercises, so that you can work on specific challenges that you're facing when you're practicing your own repertoire. Again, that's my online singing course, Building Your Voice, link down below. If you are curious about my own singing, I'll leave the link for my latest single, I'll Be There, and also the link for my Spotify. Again, I'm about to release a next single. This time it will be a bit heavier, so stay tuned. And if you want to see some of the behind the scenes of my life as a voice teacher and singer, follow me on Instagram. The link is also down below, okay? Enjoy your coffee, enjoy your day. See you on the next one. And remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change, and not the world.